Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's exclusive session hosted by Shivi Forensics. I'm Prachi Sharma, a proud member of Shivi Forensics, and it's a pleasure to be a host today. We are fortunate to have Ms. Priti Yadav with us for an upcoming forensic expert who will be presenting on an interesting topic, lie detection technique. She is currently in her second year pursuing BSc in Forensic Science at Uttar Pradesh Institute of Forensic Science, Lucknow, and we are excited to hear from her today. I encourage you all to engage actively throughout the presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to submit them via chat box and we will be sure to address them after the session. Ms. Preeti, you can start.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. Shall I proceed from here? Hello, everyone. Good morning to you all. I hope you all are fine. Is my voice clear to you all? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
just give me a second. Is my presentation is visible?
Yes.
Okay. So today we are here for a brief discussion on an important and interesting topic from a forensic perspective. Let's begin the presentation. Lie detection technique. There is one important point. We can also use the word deception instead of lie in this context. Here, deception refers to distortion of information to create a false impression. It involves misleading others through words, action. It can be intentional, unintentional, conscious, or unconscious. This slide gives you a quick roadmap. We will start with an introduction to lie detection, then explore different techniques like polygraph, narcoanalysis, brain fingerprinting. Then we discuss related case study and wrap up with forensic significance and legal concerns. Moving on to the next slide. Lie detection is not just about looking someone in the eye and guessing if they are lying. It's a scientific approach that evaluate both verbal and non-verbal cues. In verbal cues, it includes unusual hesitation or rapid speech, sudden changes in pitch of voice. Person's statement may shift between past and present tense and may try to avoid direct answers. While in non-verbal cues, involuntary facial reaction, frequent blinking, excessive hand movement, signal of discomfort can be seen in the person. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Polygraph, this word derives from two Greek words. Poly means many and graphos means writing. It is widely used technique that measures physiological response like heart rate, blood pressure, sweating. The principle is simple. When we lie, our body reacts due to anxiety, heart rate, BP, breathing rhythm, perspiration. All are increased, which the polygraph records. Next slide. Okay, this slide covers the whole history of the polygraph. The polygraph has evolved over time, starting from simple breathing pattern to sophisticated machine. The term polygraph, coined by John Isaac Hawkins, then Vittorio Benussi, contribute pneumograph, which measures breathing pattern. Then William Marston introduced a device, sphygmomanometer, which measures the BP. In the last, Dr. Larson developed the galvanic skin response, which measures the perspiration rate. Leonard Keeler. He is also known as the father of the modern polygraph. He made major improvement and reliable polygraph technique. In the last, Cesare Lombroso, which employed the scientific instrument to detect BP and pulse when suspects were questioned about their involvement in crime. Okay, next slide. Is there any question? Okay, okay, no problem. So this slide covers necessary requirement in polygraph. A successful polygraph examination requires a trained examiner, controlled environment that is free from all external distraction, and a cooperative subject. This is the process has three phases. Pre-test. In this, setting the baseline. It means establishing the individual physiological response under normal, non-deceptive condition. Next phase in this in test phase. In this, actual questioning take place. The examiner asks three types of questions. First, relevant question, which is directly related to case like for take an example, did you stab the victim on the night of 10th February? Then next questions are control questions. These are designed to provoke, like, have you hurt someone in anger? And the irrelevant question. It includes, are you 30-year-old or do you live in apartment? These types of questions are neutral and not related to the crime. It only helps establishing a baseline. In the last phase, examiner analyze the reading of polygraphs and conclude according to consistent or physiological changes or inconsistent to truthful, deceptive, inconclusive, respectively. You can also refer this flowchart for a summary. Okay. All right. Narcoanalysis. This term derived from Greek word narco means feeling of numbness. The term narcoanalysis was coined by Horsley, and the father of truth serum is known as Dr. Robert Ernest House. Narcoanalysis, also called a truth serum test, it involves injecting drugs like sodium pentothal to put the individual in a semi-conscious state, or we can also say twilight state, and then ask the series of questions. The principle is that unconscious or semi-conscious mind cannot deceive, but again, it's a controversial and has ethical concern. These drugs comes under the category of rapid onset, short acting barbiturate. The third one, sodium pentothal, also known as thiopentone, is commonly used in India. In India, this test is done by a team comprises of anesthesiologist, psychiatrist, clinical forensic psychologist, audio videographer, nursing staff, and writer for note making. Okay, so this has important four steps. Let's discuss each one of them. Pre-test interview. In this, individual will inform about the narcoanalysis, its side effect, and taking consent. Of course, consent is very essential part of narcoanalysis. Then in pre-test, sorry, pre-narcotic state, anesthesiologist inject the drug till the person appears relaxed. In semi-narcotic state, effect of drug appears and forensic psychologists along with psychiatrists facilitate the interview. In the last phase, that is post-tense interview, individual taken into recovery room to recover from effect of drug. All right. So this is the most important slide. Narco analysis in India. India has seen several high-profile cases where narco analysis was used. However, in Selvi versus State of Karnataka, 2010, the Supreme Court given the landmark judgment based on violation of fundamental rights guaranteed under the Indian Constitution. It include Article 20, Subclause 3, right against self-incrimination, and Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. The main concern is that the involuntary administration of narcoanalysis or polygraph, brain fingerprinting is unconstitutional. Tests can only be conducted with informed consent. So let's discuss case study. First one, Abu Salim, 1993 Mumbai blast. In the case of Abu Salim, multiple detection techniques were reportedly used during the investigation to extract the information from suspect. In the next one, Telgi fake stamp paper scam, also known as Telgi super stamp case, was one of the India's biggest financial fraud, where Karim Telgi and his associate printed and sold counterfeit stamp paper. During the investigation, narcoanalysis and polygraph were used to interrogate Telgi and his associate. Then in Nethari serial murder case, this case gained national attention due to horrific nature of the crime. Law enforcement used multiple techniques including narcoanalysis, polygraph, brain fingerprinting on Surinder Kohli. But the convictions were primarily based on witness statement rather than deception detection results. These tests help in investigation, and the legal admissibility remains a challenge. Next one is Arushi Hemraj double murder case. Involved the killing of Arushi Talwar, a 14-year-old girl, and Hemraj, who is the helper at Arushi residence in Noida. Her parents were initially suspect and later convicted in 2013, but acquitted by the Allahabad High Court due to lack of conclusive evidence. This case highlights the limitation of deception detection technique in legal proceeding. The case was decided based on circumstantial evidence rather than these tests. And the last, it is one of the most recent highlighted case, that is Shraddha Walker murder case. In November 2023, after taken for narco-analysis test, well, this case is still ongoing and final verdict is awaited. Moving on to next technique, brain fingerprinting. This is developed by Dr. Lawrence Farwell. Brain fingerprinting takes lie detection a step further by directly analyzing brainwave activity. Like, if someone has seen a crime scene or a weapon before, their brain involuntarily react when shown related stimuli such as image, audio, or words. Unlike polygraph, this technique is based purely on neuroscience, making it harder to manipulate. The principle is simple, that what brain retain record of past experience. By this, we can determine person involvement or innocence in the crime. Next slide. The process of brain fingerprinting consists of four parts. First and foremost, subject preparation. In this, sensors are attached to the subject's scalp to record brain activity. Then in next phase, that is stimulus presentation, series of stimuli related to crime are shown. These stimuli categorize under three, that is target, irrelevant, and probe. Probe is the most important stimuli because it is directly related to crime that only the perpetrator would recognize. Next, brain wave recording. Brain automatically respond to recognized information with a P300. So here a question arises, what is P300? It is an involuntary response to recognize stimuli that usually happen within 300 milliseconds. Or it is also termed as murmur, that is memory and encoding related multifaceted electroencephalographic response. And in the last phase, report generated. BEOS, brain electrical oscillation signature, is another advanced technique that detects memory recall at subconscious level. It is developed by Indian neuroscientist C.R. Mukundan. He developed the computer software with the help of company Exonet solution. It's unique because it does not rely on voluntary response. It scans brain activity directly. Moving on to next slide. Okay. What is the importance of lie detection technique in forensic investigation? First, corroborate the evidence. These techniques help investigator to cross-check the statement given by suspect, witness, or accused. Let's take a scenario. If a suspect denies being at a crime scene, but deception detection test indicate stress when questioned about it, then investigator can focus on collecting CCTV footage to confirm the claim. And the next, it support the interrogation, enhance the criminal investigation, and also prevent false accusation. And the last, legal and ethical issues. Indian court emphasize that let 100 guilty be acquitted. but one innocent should not be convicted. These methods are not scientifically foolproof. There are the chances they can produce false positives, that is, innocent appears guilty, and false negative, guilty appears innocent. Due to chances of violation of fundamental right, court recognize these tests unreliable and cannot be used as primary evidence, which questions the admissibility of the result. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So here are some references. You can also refer for additional information about this topic. Thank you. Uh, what, like, which topic you are asking? Can you repeat it? Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so this slide visible to everyone? Okay. So narcoanalysis consists of four phases. First phase is pre-test interview. In this, individual who can be suspect or witness or may chances of accused will inform about the narcoanalysis and the side effect of drug. And in the first phase, taking consent. As I mentioned in Selvi versus State of Karnataka, Supreme Court already gave the judgment. Taking consent is must. So here, consent is essential for being a part of narcoanalysis. In the next phase, pre-narcotic state, the drug is injected. Sodium pentothal, this is commonly used in these days. It is injected by anesthesiologist. So the individual appears relaxed, and then in next phase, the individual appear to be either flushed or slowed and having a slurred speech. It means individual having sorry going to twilight state. The brain activity depressed. At that point, forensic psychologist and psychiatrist facilitate the interview. They ask the question which are related to crime and complete narco interview is recorded by audio and videographer